I overcame forever sleeping problems, and I want you to feel that that's a topic that's it's not a big problem for you. So let me pack in this video some information about how to do it. First thing, just because I promised that I will do a video about this, about my personal story. Basically, I was just under a lot of stress, and I really like to stay late at night, and a lot of things that I never thought there would be a problem. But when all of them collapse, I found myself that I made really bad habits of sleeping, and that was at some point creating um, situations like not being sleeping for days and days. And of course, at some point, that was creating, I don't know, from skin problems to obviously attention problems, obviously to anxiety. I mean, it was like a vicious circle of a lot of problems. And at that point, at some point, I realized that I really had to look for help. So first thing, I was envy at that point. I thought it was the worst sleeper in the world. And I envy any normal person. At some point, that was so humiliating for me that I couldn't just rest and be normal, that I became a bit obsessed with this topic. And if this is the case for you too, I want to tell you that the fact that you think that's a problem for you, I think in my experience, by helping other people, you can become to the other side. You can become a master of it just for the same reason that you're having problems with it at first. So let me explain you that with a little more detail later. But at first, I'm going to go through some basic steps on what it means. It's not the regular information you're going to find in books or on ChatGPT or Google. So I'm very looking forward to share this with you. So first thing, you need to understand some common causes that sort of everybody knows, but nobody does. Let's say some general advice that your doctor will tell you. And it's very important that you make sure that these things are taken care of, because sometimes a simple problem like sleeping bad can be caused by, let's say, eating too much too late or something like that. So let's make sure that general problems are not there. Then why you can't sleep, I will explain you how is the mechanism for you when you're falling asleep. You need to be very familiar with how it happens, which is something that we normally don't pay attention. And you need to understand some basic things about it, like brain waves and so on. Then I will explain you the solution, what you have to do if you want to master this process of falling asleep. And ultimately, I will present the possibility of what happens when you mastered all this, that it's not that you don't have sleeping problems, that you can maximize and have an incredible sleeping ability, let's say, maybe. So let's start from the first one, the common causes. This is something that we need to take out of the conversation right from the beginning, because this is the general advice. If you're not doing anything during the whole day, obviously at night your body doesn't feel like sleeping. So some general advice, like make sure you do some sport, or you are really tired before going to sleep physically, and you're taking some medications, alcohol, caffeine, excessive screen time. This is a big deal for many people, as many of you know already, that if you're watching screens for the last period before falling asleep, certain changes in the brain affect definitely at least the quality of sleep, which is obviously part of the conversation today. But that goes on to any substances you could be taking, or nutritional deficiencies, stimulants, obviously, and certain environment things like temperature of the room, or if there is any noise or things like that. I mean, just make sure, take care of that. I'm assuming, going further in this video, I'm assuming you are taking care of this part of the process. So the second stage is why you can't sleep. Let's talk about the process. I'm super excited to share this, because I think most people, when I talk to someone who has sleeping problems, they just don't understand this at all. Or sometimes they do understand, but you obviously don't understand it very well if you're still having problems. So first thing, your brain has certain kind of waves and speeds and patterns that goes through. We generalize that. This topic can be very complex, so this is a simplification, but probably a necessary one to not to make this video too long. So first thing, you have like super fast gamma waves. That's something completely different to the conversation. That's just for intellectual and insights and peak focus, and some experiences that are not common usually. So let's not even talk about that. Then you have beta. Normally, high beta is what we normally call stress. But the lower or medium range of beta, it is what you normally call being awake. Like many times when you're doing stuff in your day and you're moving from one place to another, you're talking to people, you're in that state. Alpha is when you start relaxing. So maybe right now, actually, you're probably in alpha, because when you see it and start watching a video, you start capturing your attention with reading a book or doing something soft and nice. When you see people like kind of quiet, they normally many times are in alpha. So many people think, for example, that this is meditation. I would never call that meditation. That is not. That's like a warming up. That's not going to create any long-lasting change. So the important area for our topic and for conversation, for meditation in general, is theta. Theta is the next level where the brain starts slowing down even more, and theta is normally where people will fall asleep in the process of slowing down the brain waves. That's exactly around that sweet spot. There's a lot of things to say, but sometimes theta are also active while you're awake, and for example, doing meditation, or you're using your intuition or memory. There are some processes that you still use theta in your daily life. So, but normally, let's say that's when you are dreaming while you're sleeping, and then you have delta, that is like dreamless sleep, like deep sleep, and that's where very important healing and recovery processes take place in your body, which is super crucially important to get a lot of deep sleep. Many people, even when they fall asleep and sleep for 8 hours, they wake up tired, and their sleeping is not rejuvenating. Let's say it's not helping their body to catch. So that's because they don't have enough deep sleep. So that's a different topic that we'll explain later. So the regular process is that your awareness, your consciousness, sort of like little by little starts sinking in brain waves, and your body starts relaxing, and you fall asleep at a certain point. Normally, again, as I said, between alpha and theta. This is the important conversation. What happens to someone when you cannot fall asleep? When you're trying to fall asleep and suddenly you just get, whether it's just this sensation in your body or certain kind of thoughts about regular daily topics come to your mind, and you can stop thinking about this or thinking about that. All that is because this thinking or these kind of topics in your mind are accumulating a deeper layer. And when you get there, they get stimulated and they stimulate you. So there are all these unfinished and worries and fears that are accumulated because we normally just suppress them in our daily life. So they don't go away. They just stick down into some deeper layers of your mind. So this amount of, let's call it stress, is just sitting there right before the gates of falling asleep. And that is why sometimes when you're awake and thinking just normal, it doesn't seem to be a big problem, because you just become used to have to feel that bad. Let's say that's a capacity of human beings, adaptation. And unfortunately, you can also adapt to feeling really bad. So sometimes we just push all this pressure underneath our awareness. So it's just there. So, but you notice when you're about to fall asleep, it's very important you become aware of all this, because then you realize that most of the time, all these experiences you have before falling asleep and all this soft sleep where you have like these uncomfortable dreams are just stress, literally. So what most people do is they just get super tired, so tired, watching Netflix or doing something like that, and at some point they just fall asleep. So most people even take stimulants during the day, and then at some point they're just so damn tired that they fall asleep. Well, let me tell you, this is a really, really bad strategy. This is, at its best, is a patching strategy. But what you're doing is just you're like getting some sort of momentum to push through this residual stage of stress between wake and sleep. So what you're doing is just you're not dealing with the situation. And at some point, obviously, this becomes so much that this layer is so thick that your consciousness, when it gets to that area, when it gets to that range of vibration in your brain, it becomes it jumps back up to being awake, and you can stop thinking about stuff, and your body feels kind of ready to start doing stuff. It's like a whole disaster in terms of cycles for sleeping. So, uh, obviously, the solution for this is that you want to remove these layers of deep stress, both you could say in your mind, in your body, in your emotions, whatever you want to call it. But the thing is that you have to do some sort of process to get rid of that. That's where we get to the next step, which I call the solution. This is a very wide topic. I say this because even if you type on Google the words I'm going to be saying, you are going to find a lot of stuff. And I want to keep, before going into any specifics, I want to keep this point clear. You can find there's so many ways to do this that it can become confusing. But the main point, let's go there. The main idea is that you have to move your attention through your body. That's simple. There are many different patterns to do this. One of the most well known is Yoga Nidra, that is done in many different ways. This is obviously something that I hope you're trying. If you're trying to fall asleep and you can't, try Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is you're gonna find a lot of free meditations on YouTube and Spotify, and just try them. Some of them you're gonna hate them, and some of them are gonna feel kind of okay. So these are great tools, but you will see that basically they are doing in many different ways. They are just scanning through your sensory experience in different ways. So the starting point that I suggest to everyone is just, I call it body scanning. It's normally called that it comes from Buddhism, from Vipassana and mindfulness techniques, where they scan their body in certain ways, but that's not true. There's so many different ways that you could do this and it goes very deep. You could do this, for example, following certain patterns. The 61-point relaxation, for example, if you want to check that, it is, I think, probably one of the best places to start with a structured way to scanning your body. But you could also do it freely, or if you will go to certain traditions, for example, in certain kinds of Vipassana, they just scan their body like inch after inch, slowly, one after the other. Your attention cannot be distracted. So it's a very, very intense process. So you basically go like that. What you will notice if you start scanning your body and checking every single part of your body one by one with your full consciousness, what's going to happen is your body is going to start relaxing to incredible levels compared to your usual. That can feel very alive. So you may not fall asleep in the beginning, but most of the time you will tend to fall asleep completely. So this is the stage one that will solve, I think, like probably 90% of people having sleeping problems. Just become good at this. You can let your attention free float. I don't recommend that because if you don't have a lot of experience, you're gonna lose the thread of continuous attention, and you're gonna sort of like de-energize the momentum of the relaxation. So I strongly suggest to take some sort of structure for it and just go deep dive on it. As again, a Vipassana structure where you're following every little bit of your body could take even hours. But probably there's some routines that will take like 15 minutes to go around of your body in certain ways. That's probably a good starting point. But probably I think the sweet spot is something between half an hour and 45 minutes. That being said, I just want to mention, and I will do a video specifically about this point, that the regular sleep culture, or you could call it, because I read close to every book on the topic. And the fascinating thing is most of these books don't talk about the possibilities of human body, because maybe they sound too esoteric for the general public that just wants to get a better sleep so they can keep on having their life as it is. But if you will be open for further exploration of the possibilities, you're going to end up coming into exploring what conscious sleep is. Conscious sleep means that you can let your brain sink down, and this is something that can be scientifically proven, let's say, because someone will say, now, how can you be awake while you're, while you're in theta? Many times we call that lucid dreaming. So this is a bit higher in the range. So that's when you fall asleep, and that's the area where you are normally dreaming. That's what we call lucid dreaming. So you can become aware of the dreams to an incredible extent, actually, if you practice it long enough. And but you can go deeper than that. And this is a very exciting part that, for example, I think a tradition that covers this very well is Tibetan Buddhism. They have a huge understanding of these deeper layers of your mind. And basically, it really looks like deep sleep in the sense like your body and your mind are not working, in the sense that you're not noticing them, but you still notice yourself alive. This is a deep topic for exploration, but this equals to uh, the meditation and certain accomplishments in the spiritual path. And I think it's incredibly useful, especially nowadays where many people seem to have insights, but they cannot sustain them. You need to have a structural practice that will help you to make sure that you are rooting deeper and deeper in your insights and your experiences. Well, this is one of the most straightforward ways of doing it. You have to become incredibly aware of every moment, even when your body and your mind fall asleep. You can absolutely let your mind fall asleep and you're still there. The benefits of this are, I mean, this is just a simple list, but I would say you that this is just like endless. I cannot explain you with words the benefits of being able to have a deep conscious sleep, at least if not every night, but regularly. You improve obviously your relaxation, your sleep quality. You will have way less stress because there's a lot of simple chemical parts of stress that can be strongly compensated just by sleeping well. So just by sleeping well, you will have way less stress in your life. You will be way better version of yourself than you usually are. And you will also have enhanced focus and clarity for performance. So you will do better your work and you will enjoy your life in general. Emotional balance, you will have more. This is having more positive emotions in general. Healing and recovery, of course, if you, especially if you come to be able to be consciously going deep into these layers, it's a whole topic on itself, healing and recovery. But you're going to start discovering that you can recover your body faster than is normally understood. Energy rejuvenation, that's another way of saying many people feel like incredible aliveness and freshness and readiness in their body. So let's call that energy rejuvenation. And of course, this being able to be aware of yourself when your body and your mind are not distorting the experience, let's say, it creates a profound, important, solid step towards doing actual inquiry or awareness of Rigpa or non-duality, call it whatever. This is the way you can consistently create a foundation that will help you get there on a regular basis. So, as you see, the topic is very deep, but I hope you had some general overview on how to go through the problems of sleeping. First thing, get over the conversation, all this general advice from the doctor. Make sure that you get your body is regularly has exercise, that you're not taking any stimulants and stuff like that. Just make sure that the cycles, the time you go to sleep, the place where you sleep, and the temperature. This general advice, and then watching screen time before going to sleep. This general advice, please make sure that that's clear. Then you can go on experiencing deep relaxation by scanning your body in a very consistent way, like moment by moment, continuous consciousness of specific parts of your body and not losing it. If you go into thinking, that then you're breaking the momentum of it. So of course it will still work, but it will be incredibly way more powerful the moment that with practice you will be able to sustain your attention moment by moment, following, moving through your body with full conscious presence. At that point, you will not, something happens in your brain and in your body, and you will start naturally, the most effortless way, going to the direction of falling asleep. And again, just to mention, you can explore that There are way more perks to explore these deep states than most people think. It's not just about sleeping well. You can have profound transformations, not only being incredibly practical for your body, for having more energy and having better emotions and your mind being more clear, but also for making profound structural shift in your consciousness and enjoy more peace in your life. And not only that, make sure that all these higher moments you have lived in your life, these peaks that you call, okay, that can be lived. I know because I was there at some point. You can call it non-duality, you can call it awareness of awareness, whatever you call it. In this way, you can ensure that that experience in the beginning will be deeper and it will last longer. But if you keep nurturing that practice, it will at some point become your regular state of being. I went through the whole thing. I hope it was of value, and I wish you a good night's sleep tonight. I hope you got value from this video. I hope you did. And I really mean every word I say. I'm not here just to have a controversial video and become an influencer on YouTube or something like that. I don't care about that. I care about real change, lasting real change in people. That's what I'm here for. So I take the responsibility of saying all these big words of lasting happiness and peace and nirvana and non-duality. Call it whatever you want. So I take the responsibility of pushing people in that direction, because the truth is that most people would experience with generic teachings like books or videos like this, they will experience a certain amount of a taste of it. But you just go back into the old patterns, because there are things, there are shadows in our life, things we don't notice that bring us back to certain patterns at work, relationships, money, health, your past, your future. There's certain specifics about yourself. So these teachings can be way more effective if they are done one-on-one. And that traditionally, when someone would be maybe in the position like yourself to realize this is the most important thing that you can do in your life, because there is no life that can be lived fully without that state of peace, that state of understanding. Nothing you could do would make any sense. When people would realize that, they would just reach out to a teacher. They would just move out of their village and they will look for someone who could teach them, someone who seemed to have to realize that, and they are living from there, and they will ask for help. Well, I've been meditating for more than 30 years. I have more than 15,000 hours of actually sitting to meditate. I work with world-class teachers one-on-one, and I want to extend this offering to you. So if you're ready to get real, what I'm offering you as a gesture of goodwill is a free call between you and me, no commitment. You just explain me what your case is, and I will try to give you something of value right away. And we will see if we are a match, and we may take a coaching together or not. That's okay. It doesn't matter to me. The important thing is I reach out and I'm taking responsibility to actually help you. I care more about helping one person than reaching out 1 million people on YouTube. So if you feel that that is you, that you're ready to get real and integrate non-duality, nirvana, heaven, lasting love, excitement, and peace in your life for real, if you know that's a real possibility for you and you're ready, then just go to my website, ricardcoach.com, and send me a message. Hey, I'm here. I think I'm ready. And we will have this free, no commitment introductory call where you explain me what is your situation. Now, hopefully we'll give you already something of value, and we'll check if there is need or if there is value in keep on working together, if we are a match. So just go for it. Don't think about it. I don't bite. And yeah, you get what I mean, right? From heart to heart. I've been there. And I want you to really fully live what you know you can live, that what you deserve, what you can be experiencing in every moment. I hope you're ready. I hope you recognize that, and by this mean or any mean, take whatever action or non-action you need to free yourself.